Lifespan. Kangaroos can live up to 6 to 8 years in the wild, although many face risks from predation, hunting, and environmental factors. In captivity, they can live longer, sometimes up to 20 years. Kangaroos are a symbol of Australia, not only for their unique way of moving, but also for their role in the ecosystem and the country's culture.
Habitat and distribution. Location. Kangaroos primarily live in Australia, but some species can also be found in parts of Papua New Guinea. Environment. They are adaptable animals and can be found in various habitats, including forests, woodlands, grasslands, and even deserts. They typically prefer open plains with access to food and water.
Physical characteristics. Size. The largest species, the red kangaroo, can grow up to 8 feet tall when standing and weigh over 200 pounds. Smaller species, like the eastern grey kangaroo, are generally around 4 to 6 feet long. Hind legs and tail. Their powerful hind legs are built for hopping, enabling them to travel long distances. The tail is strong and used for balance while hopping.
Diet. Kangaroos are herbivores, feeding on grasses, leaves, and shrubs. They are grazing animals that rely on the vegetation available in their environment.
Reproduction. Breeding. Kangaroos have a unique reproductive system. Female kangaroos are usually in estrus for a few days during their breeding season, which can be year-round depending on the species. Male kangaroos compete for the female's attention. Gestation. The gestation period is short, around 33 days for most species. After birth, the tiny joey, newborn kangaroo, crawls into the mother's pouch, where it continues to develop. Joey development. A joey stays in the pouch for several months, typically 6 to 9 months, before gradually emerging, though it may continue to suckle for up to a year or more. The joey is weaned when it can graze on vegetation and survive independently. Joey development. A joey stays in the pouch for several months, typically 6 to 9 months, before gradually emerging, though it may continue to suckle for up to a year or more. The joey is weaned when it can graze on vegetation and survive independently.
Social structure. Groups. Kangaroos often live in groups called mobs, which provide protection from predators. The size of the mob can vary depending on food availability and environmental conditions. Hierarchy. In mobs, there is a dominance hierarchy, with dominant males having priority access to mates. These males often engage in boxing matches to assert their dominance.
Behavior. Hopping. Kangaroos are known for their efficient method of locomotion, hopping. This allows them to cover vast distances in search of food and water. Communication. Kangaroos communicate with each other through body language. They may use thumping of their hind legs as a warning signal to alert the mob to danger. They also grunt, growl, and make other vocalizations.
Predators and threats. Natural predators. Adult kangaroos have few natural predators due to their size and speed, but young joeys may fall prey to dingoes or birds of prey. Humans. Human activities, such as land development and farming, have impacted kangaroo populations. Some species are also hunted for meat and leather.
Lifespan. Kangaroos can live up to 6 to 8 years in the wild, although many face risks from predation, hunting, and environmental factors. In captivity, they can live longer, sometimes up to 20 years. Kangaroos are a symbol of Australia, not only for their unique way of moving, but also for their role in the ecosystem and the country's culture.
Kangaroo conservation and management. Conservation status. Most kangaroo species are not currently considered endangered, with the red kangaroo being classified as least concern. However, some species, like the eastern grey kangaroo, have fluctuating population numbers due to environmental changes and human activity.
Overpopulation. In some areas of Australia, kangaroo populations can grow rapidly, especially after periods of abundant rainfall, leading to overpopulation. This can put pressure on the environment, as large numbers of kangaroos may overgraze vegetation, affecting the land's health. In some regions, controlled culling is used to manage the population to prevent ecological damage.
Protected areas. Kangaroo populations are more stable in protected areas like national parks or reserves, where their natural habitat is preserved and human interference is minimized.
Adaptations to the environment. Water conservation. Kangaroos are well adapted to Australia's often dry and harsh environment. They can survive without drinking water for long periods, obtaining moisture from the plants they eat. During droughts, kangaroos may reduce their activity levels to conserve energy and water.
Ecological role. Seed dispersal. Kangaroos play an important role in the ecosystem by helping to disperse seeds through their droppings. As they graze, they also help to maintain healthy vegetation by preventing overgrowth of certain plant species, allowing for the growth of others.
Grazing. Their grazing habits help manage plant growth, promoting biodiversity. While they primarily feed on grasses, their presence can influence plant communities, sometimes limiting the spread of invasive plant species by keeping their growth in check.
Human-wildlife conflict. As Australia's population grows, kangaroos sometimes enter urban areas in search of food, leading to traffic accidents or conflicts with humans. These situations can be dangerous for both humans and kangaroos.
Protected areas. Kangaroo populations are more stable in protected areas like national parks or reserves, where their natural habitat is preserved and human interference is minimized.
Predator and prey. Kangaroos are preyed upon by dingoes, crocodiles, and large birds of prey like eagles. They help maintain the balance of predator-prey relationships in the wild. In turn, their grazing helps other species thrive by maintaining a balanced landscape.
Human-kangaroo interaction. Cultural significance. Kangaroos hold a prominent place in Australian culture, appearing on the national emblem, currency, and even as mascots for sports teams. They are also featured in Aboriginal art and folklore.
Tourism. Kangaroos are major attractions for tourists visiting Australia. Many national parks, wildlife reserves, and sanctuaries offer opportunities to observe these animals in their natural habitat. The kangaroo's unique appearance and behavior make it a symbol of the Australian wilderness.
Economic impact. Kangaroo meat is considered a sustainable source of protein, and it is consumed in Australia and exported to various countries. The kangaroo leather industry also plays a role in the economy, with kangaroo hide being used to make items like shoes, gloves, and sporting equipment.
Kangaroos in popular culture. Kangaroos have become synonymous with Australia worldwide, often used in advertising, films, and television shows. They represent the wild and untamed spirit of the Australian outback. Famous examples include Skippy, the bush kangaroo, a 1960s television show that became a cultural icon, and kangaroos that appear in animated movies like
Climate change. Like many wildlife species, kangaroos are facing the impacts of climate change. Increased temperatures, droughts, and changes in rainfall patterns can affect food availability and water sources, threatening their survival. Additionally, extreme weather events like bushfires, which have been increasing in frequency and severity, can destroy kangaroo habitats and force them into urban areas in search of shelter.
Kangaroos are remarkable, resilient creatures that have adapted to some of the most challenging environments in the world. Their unique behaviors, role in the ecosystem, and cultural significance make them a symbol of Australia. While they face challenges from human activity and environmental changes, conservation efforts and an understanding of their importance continue to ensure that kangaroos thrive in their native habitats.